Hi guys, today I'm going to talk to you about percent yield. Don't forget, you need your notes that are out, your pencil, calculator, and a highlighter. Okay, so let's get started. So let's say you are about to do an experiment, but before you do the experiment, you sit there mathematically, determine how much of the product you are actually going to produce. Okay, so and then you actually go into lab and you start doing the experiment. Well, that's exactly what percent yield is. Percent yield tells you what percentage of the theoretical yield a reaction will produce. It actually measures, okay? So it measures the efficiency of the reaction. Okay, so it actually measures, does this reaction go to complete 100% completion? So your theoretical yield that you have is what you predict that the reaction is going to produce. Okay, and this is usually done through stoichiometry, or we say it is done through math. It's calculation based. Okay, and it usually tells you the maximum amount of product that's going to be produced in the reaction. The product produced. On the other hand, your actual yield is actually determined through the experiment. It's what you get in the lab. Let's say this is really what happens in real life. Okay? So theoretical is what you theoretically say it is going to be, and the actual yield is what actually happens. Okay, so when you put all this together, that's when you get percent yield, where you're measuring how efficient was this particular reaction. So here's the equation for percent yield. It's probably one of the easiest equations you're going to do in chemistry, but percent yield is equal to the actual yield divided by the theoretical yield times 100. Okay, so let's do an example problem. Given that the actual yield of the preceding problem is 18.7 grams, determine what is the percent yield of this reaction. So in the previous problem, you guys actually did determine the theoretical yield. And usually that's something that you have to determine because you can mathematically determine the theoretical yield. The actual yield is usually given to you in the problem. So in this case, the actual yield is 18.7 grams. In the previous problem, go back and look at your notes of the previous problem for limiting reactants, but the theoretical yield that you determined from that equation was 22.7 grams. Okay? And you want to determine the percent yield. So this is a pretty easy problem. Remember that the theoretical yield is actual divided by theoretical times 100. So this is 18.7 divided by 22.7 times 100. And when you put this into the calculator, you're going to get your answer to be 82.4%. Don't forget the percent sign, because this percent sign is your unit. Okay, so in this equation, in this problem, 82.4% of the reaction was efficient. That means that from what you predicted the theoretical yield, 82.4% of that experiment actually did occur in real life. Okay? Okay, so this is the lecture on percent yield, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.